Okay, well, I'll try to be quick. Thanks for sticking around afterwards for this special little presentation. We all thought that, that it would be good to for me to share some of the unique tools that I use to be able to look like $1 million, but only pay very marginally for some of the things that larger companies do. I use a series of tools to be able to do that, and I'm going to be basically showing you 5 of them really quickly here to kind of give you a little taste of it. And a lot of it, this discussion came around when we were discussing about the CRM, so the customer relationship management tools, and one of them was the fact that I use a really good one called Salesforce, and I wanted to show that off. But I'm also going to show off a series of other tools that range from free to expensive, but expensive only meaning like $300 a year, which is not expensive at all. So it's really cheap stuff. It works out really well, so I'm going to share that with you. And I'll be quick and concise about this so that you guys can kind of get a good exposure as to what is always beneficial for you. And I enjoy presenting this because this is just stuff that I spend a lot of time researching myself to figure out what's the best tools for me. And and one of the key things is that's easy. And the other thing is that all these tools that I use, I don't have a stake in it. Although I think that a few of them, they actually do have incentives where if you do referral, you get points or something like that. I'm not going to bother with that, but for the most part, it's just me going, okay, these are great tools. Okay. So, very first one I'm going to show you really quick is a project management tool called Trello. I know I've mentioned this to everyone before during previous sessions, so I want to kind of give you a quick glimpse at it. Trello is really awesome because what it does is it allows you to be able to manage multiple things at once in a really concise format. So it's kind of like the to-do list that has been kind of like amped up or on steroids in a way. The reason I like it because it's online. Everything I'm showing you is like cloud-based too, so you don't have to download or use any software. So this is Trello, and these are basically my boards. So I can set up a new board really easily, just like coming over here, and then I have a company set up where basically if I create a board and everyone within the company already has access to it. I call this one e200. So I create this board, and what happens is it creates what they call cards. So these are they start out with these default 3: to do, doing, and done. And what you do is you come in here and you start creating a to-do list. So you go, okay, finish SGAP, finish SGAP. Okay, there we go. That's a good one. Make $1 million. That's another one, and then I'll do another third one, which is work with pineapple. That's what we call ourselves, the pineapple. Okay. So we create these cards, and then one of the cool things is that you can move it around, and this is live. So if I was actually logged in on another computer, these changes would be happening, on someone else's computer. So you could have like a main board, and and as activities happen, you can see things moving around and changing. So once I've done that, you can add members to this group. Since I'm by myself right now, it's myself. But if you have multiple people, they would show up here, and you go, okay, I'm going to assign making $1 million to Nai. Okay, so now I'm responsible for it, and anything I do on that card line will be reflected. Once I'm working on it, then I can move it to the doing list, and then now I know it's active, and when it's done, I move it to the done list. So that's just the most basic part of it. So you can assign multiple people to multiple projects, and then you can just have it in different statuses. You can organize it in whichever way you want. What they use in their video is an example of they got prospects, and they got acquisition, and they got the next stage, which is actually doing it, and then they got the done field. So you can see things.
Same screen, same time.
Yeah, everyone's all on the same screen at the same time.
You just pull it up, okay.
Yeah, and you can also log in using your cell phone too. It's really awesome. It's free. That's the best part. It's free. You can't argue with that. And they keep improving it too. And I don't think this company's ever planning on selling. They do other stuff.
Can that be used with Skype?
Skype? No?
No.
I don't think so. But if you're doing Skype screen sharing, then yeah. But you don't need to because they can just be logged in, viewing the. If you make them a member of the thing, you can also make it open so that anybody can view it with the link too.
I just wonder if they have any video with that.
No, there is no video sharing capabilities, but there's really no need for one. Yes.
So this can be done as far as project scheduling, use
Yeah.
this for project scheduling?
A variety of things. You can use it for whatever you want. You could use it as a grocery list, yeah. or a house list. I mean, this concept is like you have multiple columns, you move stuff in between. Now, the biggest thing I like about this is that within a card you can write comments. So here's this card, make $1 million, and then I can write a description, most important. Okay, so that's a description for this card, and then I have an activity feed, so I can comment on this, like working on it. Okay, so if someone else is on it, then they can comment on it, and you have actually a log of every single interaction that has pertained to this particular item on here. So that's a big benefit of that. You could also add a checklist. So here's a checklist, and item number 1, 2, 3. And as I'm finishing it, I can click it off, and then you'll see a progress of it, and all updates down there. So you have the activity log that shows it, and then you could also add a due date. So we can say this is due tomorrow, and then so this is just like just a quick demo of the capabilities of what you can get. You can just go in there and play with it, and it's awesome. So I just want to share that with you guys. As a really quick and easy tool to kind of start out with.
When a task is done, does it notify all the members? If you had like 10 members, it notifies them.
Yes, there's notifications. So whoever's on the card will actually get notifications. You can turn them off too. So you get an email saying, Ray has done this, and he added this comment, and he checked off these 3 items. And it updates like every few hours or something like that. It's really awesome in that sense. And then, so if I'm moving this around.
I have a question.
Yes.
So can you see it as like a Gantt chart type of thing, or?
I don't know what you're asking about, but.
That's the one that, remember I was asking you about actually having schedule with
Like a
milestones.
schedule? Like I can see like, okay,
the
this is a
beginning,
week, this is another week, this one's dependent on this. And
No,
I
there
can
is
see
no,
it in
right
like
now,
a
I don't
graphic.
really see any milestoning type of charting, like what you're looking for in another type of project management system.
Or
linking.
Or
link
even
one
just
to the
like a
second one.
calendar that
There-
shows like
There might be one, I found out about it a while back, it's called Asana.
Asana.
Yeah, ASA, something like that, NA. And it's free, but I think it does do Gantt charts.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's other ones that are good, but this is very good for this specific purpose, and it works really well for doing for managing multiple people. Like here's just an example of one of my project boards for content creation. So you can see we got our to-do, we got our content department, we got our basically our image department, and then graphics, final process, and then it goes to editorial, and then it goes to done. So then I can see which department's working on what particular piece of the project.
Hey, I want to see that triple X one up there, it says adult version.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
That's a fun
Their own personal privacy.
He's trying to get sales.
Yeah.
You got our attention over there.
That's the only thing you saw without the.
We know where your mind is here. That's a first comment.
Yeah, you zoomed in on that.
First thing I saw.
So these cards you can name whatever you want, but this is for internal tracking, and then you can use it. So now I know exactly what each project. You can change the levels of it. You can color code them based on whatever priorities or whatever. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's just a tool. It's free. You can use it for very simple to-do lists to all the way to managing multiple people, throwing people on a specific project. When they're done, they can remove themselves off that project and then move it into a different column, so on and so forth. I have like my own to-do list in here. I have like I have a board with my nonprofit group, so so everyone knows where all the projects are between the different committees. It's a great organizational tool. So this is called Trello. And I want to show everyone this because I really love it, and I think that a lot of people can benefit from it. And you can't argue with free, right? So it doesn't do everything, like that does that type of milestoning. So there's some other services that do that, but even those services, I don't find them very user friendly. Where this is very user friendly.
I have another question. So can you export the information? So it
Yes.
So how do you
Yeah, they do have export capabilities. I don't know everything that this can do because it can do a lot of things. I only use it for project management and managing the different departments between. And you set up a board for whatever whatever you need to do. Here's, and there's the 200 board right here. and then I can create a new list. Oh, list. There we go. And I have a fourth one, and I can move this to another position. I mean, it's just easy. That's the key. Is if it's easy, then people will use it. If it's difficult, nobody wants to use it. And I've used like different ones before, like Basecamp. Basecamp is great. It's powerful. It's got some really great tools. You pay for it. But the thing is, like it's not very easy to use. So it's, and I can't get people to buy in on that, especially with with people who aren't very computer savvy. Where this one's just like click, drag, drop, you're done. Anyway, that's Trello. So the next one I'm going to talk about is setting up phones. Now I use a service called Phone.com. Now Phone.com has only been around for like 6 years now. I used to use a different one called Toll-Free Max, but they got bought out by J2, and I hate J2. They do a really horrible job at customer service, and the technology, they removed a lot of features. But anyway, the reason I use this service is one, it's using a lot of more modern web-based technologies so that things are easy to do, so you can do a lot of drag and drop. Where other ones you have to set up like all these different parameters. You have to be a rocket science to be able to maneuver through the menu systems. And it's really cheap too. I've been using them for 6 years now, and their prices are about 1,000 minutes for $50 a month or $40 a month. It's actually not that expensive at all. And the way that I use this is a virtual PBX. So what happens is when my customers call me, they call me at an 800 number, which I have established in here. And within that number, then they get a phone tree, so like a standard phone tree. So it's what we call a virtual PBX, like the old-fashioned PBXs that offices use. It's all online now. So when they call in, they get a phone tree, and then they can make different menu selections. So this is my menu selection for main menu. So like they dial 1, they go sales. If they dial 2, so nothing too fancy about that. But the part that I really love about this service is that it's really easy to set up very fancy menu systems. You can set up every person up with a direct extension, and what it doesn't do is that it ties into an internal PBX. So what it heavily relies on is phone lines and cell phones. So what happens is you dial these extensions. My sales will go to extension 901, and what happens is that I have that extension set up so that it dials out to multiple numbers, and it hits all the numbers at once, and whoever picks us first will get that call. You can also set up a round robin system, so if you call one number, if nobody answers within a certain time period, then it moves on to the next. There's a lot of services out there that do this, but this one's the easiest, and also one of the best priced ones that I've encountered. And it doesn't require a rocket science to write. Sorry, I keep poking fun at rocket scientists, but to be able to set it up, because you can set up the call handling rules. So this is my sales rule. First thing I wanted to do is to forward a call to this number. I really like it because when somebody dials it, I pick up the line, and it'll say this is a sales call, because it'll announce what type of call it is, because you don't know.
What if I had over at the office I've got PBX, whatever that crap is called. But the thing is, they call into the main line. Would I be able to route it through here, or do I have to get a number?
It has to have a phone number to reach, so it has to do that. Or you can use IP phones if you have an IP phone.
Just create a new phone number and then port it through there.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what it does is it forwards it to different call numbers, and then that's how it routes things. So it's really designed.
If I call Nai, when I call his office on the 800 number, then they'll give you the tree and the options and do his extension, and then I plug into the extension and I go.
And ideally, it'd be like you should get a 1-800 number and then just port
just
through
call
there.
that.
And then the way I set it up is here, it rings for 25 seconds. Announce sales call if I pick it up, and I have the music playing like upbeat piano. And it fails after 25 seconds. Then I go to a second rule setting, which is then dial to another number, which is kind of round robin. So if I fail to pick up, or if I'm busy, then it actually goes to someone else. And then after that failure, then it goes to voicemail. You can actually set up all these rules pretty quickly and easily. Yes.
And a byproduct of what Nai is doing here, for all of you to go back and examine your phone bills, find out what's going on with your phone bills, you're going to be shocked when you see it. Take a look at it, and then you figure out how much waste you have on these phone bills.
Yeah.
And then take a look at this. Don't have to be this one, but another alternative. I guarantee you, that you're gonna be shocked when you especially have a few people using phones and all, you're paying for these various mobile phones and all. Take a look at it and see. It's a good way to take it, bring it back to surface again, back to earth, and then see this could be a good way to go. I've never had a problem getting you with this.
No,
You're
it's
really fast,
great.
you know.
Yeah,
I call from Philadelphia and different places, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't need phone service with it, is that what you're saying? This is all internet?
This is internet-based,
Yeah,
but the thing is, you still need a phone service for the information to get to you. So this is kind of like a routing service.
Okay, so you still need a phone service.
You still need a phone service. Well, actually, they do provide phone services as well. What they use is IP phones. So basically, it's a phone that plugs into the internet,
Right.
and then it gets routed to that phone directly.
Mhm.
So actually, technically, no. But the thing is, it eats up your minutes. So their plan is based on minutes of usage. I'm on the 1,000 minute plan because, like, in a 1 month's time, I don't have enough incoming calls to use. Once in a while, I get over, and I just pay a little overage fee, not much at all. They also have, like, voice message to text message type of service. And the way that I use it and be cheap about it is that I don't make any outbound calls for this. I just make an outbound call using my standard landline, which doesn't eat up the minutes here. Now, their higher price ones is actually not that bad. So they have, like, other tiers for you to get more minutes if you needed to do that. And even those tiers are still really cheap. Unless if you're running a call center, then actually even the call center, this is cheaper than going standard phone route. So this, and one of the cool things I like about this type of service is that I could change things on the fly. And this is just kind of an example. Like, so I have my main menu, but then I have another one called closed and another one called Jonathan. So these are basically like menu settings. So if I'm on if something's going on and I need to basically change the menu settings, like, I actually have multiple numbers like that are tied to this account, and the multiple numbers can go to various things. But the thing is, my main number, I can actually come over here and change the rule for my main number. So if they dial that number, then right now I have it going to Jonathan, because Jonathan is currently answering all phone calls. So none of the calls are coming to me except for direct extensions. So then with the rule settings, I can set it to that. And I can just say, okay, now I can go back to the main menu. They say that, then then it'll go back to the normal rule settings that I have set up. So there's a lot of power and flexibility that you can do with it. That's actually very easy. I've used the other ones, and they make you, like, program in and type in these, like, extra codes, and they don't even let you change things without having to go through a whole entire process where I just do click, click, boom, done. All the phones are routed to a different methodology now.
This is through, you said what's an IB?
No, this is a virtual PBX.
Okay,
And-
at the office we use like Quest for our
Yeah.
landlines, and then and it's just voicemail. That's it. So
Yeah.
is that compatible like with Quest, where we
Well, it
can
would dial out
for
to
the
your Quest
office
services.
phones?
Yeah, it would dial out to your office phone. It all depends on your setup. So you might have to look at and re-examine your entire setup to see if this is a good fit for you. This is good for small home-based home-based businesses. Even some larger businesses can't take advantage of it. But if you already have an established system, you might just need to look at it and analyze that. Because there's definitely multiple ways to approach it. But the thing is, like, the tool's there, and it's fairly inexpensive, and it works really well. It's very easy to use too. So, and the thing is, if you have the internet there, then you can set up an IP phone setup. So you just have phones plugged into the internet jack, and then each of them will have direct extensions and have all the old-fashioned stuff. So that's phone.com. It's really easy. You can set up multiple greetings. You can do a lot of things. And the only reason I point this out is because it's easy too, and cheap.
Nice.
So,
Before you
yes.
get out of the, can you get an information off of it, like how many phone calls did you get, how many went?
Oh yeah. You have, like, complete logs. It'll tell you exactly what they chose as far as options are concerned, and who actually picked up on the phones. So I can look at the log and say, this phone number dialed extension 1, and then this phone number picked up on that extension. So then and it'll say the conversation lasted 3 hours or 5 minutes or something like that.
So can you record your phone calls then?
You can actually. It's an extra paid fee for recording. So if you do need it, then you could opt to have that. So yeah, I mean, they have a lot of literature on their website, but I just want to point out that it's powerful, it's flexible and easy, and it's cheap, and it basically makes you look like $1 million because you can set up these phone trees, and you have the flexibility to be able to make changes on the fly. I can be on my iPad and then just go click, 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 program it, and then change my programming for it if I need to do that. Which for me it works out really well because I travel a lot, so a lot of the phone routing needs to change based on our travel schedules. All right, cool. So that's phone.com. So the next one I'm going to point out is one that's really near and dear to my heart, and it's free, and it's KD Compass.
What is it?
The KD Compass, the site that we created for training. Now the reason I want to point this out to you guys
We
is
all
that
get a picture of you too. We like that picture of you.
Yeah.
Very distinguished structure. I like that.
So I want to point this out to you because this is something that I want to open up as far as an opportunity for you guys to look at. And it all has to do with training. You know, I've been speaking with Martine about changing the way that we do like SolidWorks type of online training. And for you guys, what you think about is like if you have any type of training needs or anything like that, the system is designed really well to be able to suit that. So what the entire emphasis of the system is to create a class structure of information. And then based on the class structure, here we see this, the colors indicate to the learner how they're performing on that particular class. And they do that by going into that specific class. So this is like digestion and metabolism. And then each page, each page what we call concepts have like different colors which indicate what it is. Now what this information can be is like, if you have a training process within your organization, so page 1 is about, page 1 of the employee handbook, or page 2 is about how to design materials in a 3D space. Page 3, page 4, page 5. So basically each individual page is like is a piece of information. And when the people go through those pieces of information, they take a test. And the test is randomly generated based on the content that's in here. And then after they get graded, they get told based on these colors how well they performed during that process. And then they can go back and they go, okay, well, I need to study all these areas that are red because those are the areas that I seem to have failed on. Go back and study it, retest themselves again, and continue through that process. So this is a tool that's currently free, and it's something that you could easily incorporate into your training needs. Because if you have the information, either online or PDF form or whatnot, you can just put the information within each page. And then the only other thing is like to write questions about each page so that when they're looking at it, then they'll receive questions at the very end of the module, which will assess how they understood all the information, and then after the fact, then get that type of level of feedback.
Hey, Nai, how cost efficient is that? I mean, I like it. I really do like it. Like it. In other words, if you would have shared this with me before we started, it could be a little quiz for you, so we could actually figure out what you got out in the class. He shows it to me at the end. It's a good idea. I like this.
Well, the entire emphasis is to show mastery of knowledge. So these are what we call mastery levels. So this is a novice level, this is an apprentice level, and this is a scholar level. So the point of this type of training is that when you give this to a learner or a student or whoever needs to understand this material, they go through, they read the information, and then they take a test. The classical testing methods that were currently done in the industry right now is that they go through the information and they take a test, they get told pass or fail, and they go, and then try again. But now they go through the information and they get detailed information as to what they need to study for, so that when they actually do turn everything to green, then we can confidently say that they've mastered the information. Yes?
I can get to this sample through that website, if I want to show it to those guys or no?
Oh yeah, I can get you a sample. Not for this one, but something similar to this.
Can you email me a link?
Yeah.
That way, because what you're showing there is kind of relevant to what I wanted to show them.
Yeah, exactly. I could get you to a sample. I could get you a sample account so you can actually use that as a demonstration piece.
That'd be great, actually. Good.
I mean, I think it's really important. Today more than ever, retention's important. And if there's a soft way to understand if your employees are getting it, it's going to pay big dollars for you. Big dollars for you in getting that process, eliminating mistakes, eliminating errors, eliminating rework. It's what it's all about,
It's a new way of training. It's better than the PowerPoint, and then they kind of get it, or they skirt through by answering the questions correctly.
The key is it's got to be user-friendly, and it can't have any scare tactics. People don't like when you really talk any kind of measurement, people get the blank screen goes up. So it has to be very comfortable with it. It looks like it's easy to handle.
Yeah, exactly, because when you get to the testing process, we go through a knowledge check. So here's the knowledge check, it's pulling up, and then you get a bunch of questions. Now the key is that these questions are random, meaning that it's pulled from a larger test bank. So just not to over-explain this process, but just kind of get you understanding, this is the page on, the first page that we saw on the list, Introduction to Digestion. And here's a bunch of questions just for that one page of content. And then what the system does is it randomly selects questions. And this is a custom question that I added. From each page and builds that test for the student. And then after they go through and they get asked all the questions, what happens is then the system will assess how well they perform during that test process, give them a color indicator, red, orange, or green, and say, during this process, you showed up red on these pages, and then you need to go back and study because you didn't demonstrate mastery or competency on that information. When they go back a second time, another random set of questions are asked, and then a third set. So somebody who actually studies will get the fewest amount of questions because they'll hit greens faster. The ones who don't study, then they'll have the most, because they have to go through a lot of questions before they turn everything to green, because they're failing on that process. Yes, Kat?
Okay, I can see how we can utilize that for our company, but who would put the information together on this for us? Us?
You would, yeah. You would take
Okay.
your existing training materials, put it into a digital format, and then I'd have to show you how to do that. And then basically you just link it into our process so that it can be on websites, it can be on PDFs, it can be utilizing the last tool I'm going to show you, which is Google Drive, which is a really awesome way to do that. And then you would incorporate the questions within the system, and the system will take care of the rest. So all that's needed is content in a module. So you need to create learning objectives for that module.
So you have let's say for one of our manufacturers, they have a training thing or whatever,
Yeah.
and they can give me the training information that they actually use, and I can
Put them in here.
put it in there.
Yeah, eventually we want to get to the point where we actually contact the manufacturer directly and say, hey, your training materials are done horribly right now. Nobody's really getting it, putting all these pamphlets out. This is a much more reliable way to be able to get them to the information so they can be prepared for that certification exam so they can get certified. Because the thing is, once they pick green on most of these, they should be able to pass that certification exam with flying colors. Because they've shown that they've demonstrated mastery in the process, and it also builds confidence. We're talking about high school students, but in that sense, but we're building their confidence because when they walk through that test, they're like, yeah, I'm all green. I'm getting direct feedback, and that's the difference between what's being done right now, which is they're not getting any feedback, to now you're getting really good detailed feedback as to what they need to study on. And I can't say they're not getting feedback. They're getting feedback, but it's not effective. So, good questions. So that's the process, and then they go through it so this is just one module that you look at. So you can range this one here, this one that's showing up more green. So this one's got some pages here, so on and so forth. So that's KP Compass. So it's a learning platform, but also can be used as a training platform. So if you need to train employees on specific things that you want to demonstrate mastery, you actually get a report that shows where everyone's at, what colors are at, and then you can actually track and see how they perform, and they even see to the detail as to how they answered for every single page, and then really verify that they know or they don't know. So hey, you can say, oh, you want that pay raise? Go master this information.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Okay, so that's KP Compass. Very easy tool. It's very easy to implement and very powerful. And it's also mobile ready, so you can keep it on your cell phones, your iPads.
Is that your product?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So this product, but not the stuff that I'm selling to the culinary arts curriculum. Yeah, this is the food science curriculum. So the platform
your
itself.
product.
Yeah. The platform itself is KP Compass, and that's what it does.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so the next one, which is the biggest part of the presentation, is the CRM. Now, there's a lot of CRMs out there. There's actually some that are cheaper. There's actually some that might be better than this, but we spent a lot of time investigating this one. And it's one of the biggest players out there, and one of the reasons I chose it was because they have a lot of support, and they have a lot of legacy involved with this product. There's actually a local company that does similar things to this, and they say they're better, but I haven't really looked at the material yet. I don't know what that local company name is called right now. But basically what it is it's a very sophisticated cloud-based, and they emphasize cloud because a lot of the CRMs that we're typically used to is software-based, like Act is one of the most popular ones, where you can keeping track of contact. And I want to demonstrate this because one of the things I learned is that most of you don't use any type of customer database tracking programs. Like you can use the ones that are built into Outlook, which is okay. You can also use Excel spreadsheets, which also works really well for at least having a list of names or a role better than a Rolodex, I guess is the best way to put it. And then and even something like the stuff that's built in QuickBooks. So the key with this is that we have various tools. So if I look at a contact, I'm going to click on Thomas Grant here. I have the most recent viewings. So this is a contact, and like any other contact database, we have contact details. No big deal. All these fields can be customized. So these are actually custom fields, and then you got standard address fields and everything like that. All these fields can be customized. You can add as many fields. You can delete all the fields that you don't need, and then you customize it to exactly what you need. Now, the key to this system working out really well is how you utilize the fields. But the other aspect is that is how they package it. This is one of the things I really like about Salesforce is their chatter feed. They call it chatter. I think it's only been out for about a year. Before that, they didn't have this. But this is basically kind of like a Facebook type wall where you write about your interactions with this customer. Other people who are in the system can comment on it, and then also so you create basically a virtual dialogue within the system. You can even like it too. So it's kind of funny how they just added that. But the thing is, you track your customers. This is a customer who works for Carver Career Center. So if I click on it, I get taken to the Carver Career Center account, where then I can track their sales revenue and the employees that work there, purchase order numbers and things like that. And you put all these things together within the system. So there's the account Carver Career Center. You can set up to-dos. So down here we have our activities, so we can actually log a call, do a mail merge, send an email, create a new contact, create a new task. So this you can set up a new task and assign it to someone else. So you can say this is assigned to someone else. Wait, that's such my name. So I can assign it to someone else, and then you can set up all these different calendaring events for whoever's in the system. And you set up the task. The biggest benefit about Salesforce and the biggest problem is freedom and flexibility. You can do virtually anything with it, but that's a problem. You can do virtually anything with it. There's so many options in this program that you can run a Fortune 500 company with it, and actually they do, because you can actually go in and custom develop a lot of these different things, but they provide the backbone for you to do it. For me, I use a lot of the most basic functions and a few advanced functions, but you can totally customize it. Run reports, so this is a report here, and I can save reports, so let's see here, this is a report that I ran from a conference called Skills, so basically everybody that I met during a conference, it's over here called Skills, so that I can have all the information there. I can export it to a spreadsheet very quickly and easily. You can run the corporate reports based on any type of delivery you want, so you can do sales projections, things that are in order, and then you can also set up opportunities. So opportunities is a very cool thing because then you can track the entire sales process of this particular account in a separate field, and then you can run a dashboard on it. This is a opportunity called Gateway School, and then actually closed this opportunity, and it was a $2,250 sale that was won. So you can see the feed that led up to that. And then you can also add additional fields. There's a lot more things that I can do with this, but I don't use all the functions that opportunities have because I don't track a very large sales force of people. But the thing I love about about this is the price. They have different tiers. Oops, I just lost my battery cover for a while. One thing, I have one of the cheaper ones. They have four tiers. I'm still in their most basic one, which is called the Group Edition, which is up to 5 people can have accounts in it, and it was about I think $120 a year per person, which is really cheap for what you can do with this. I know Kathy, you're in desperate need of a CRM for everything that you do and the way that you're tracking. You can save so much time and effort because everything's done, and the people who are directly interacting with it can directly input the materials, and you just manage it. They have an even cheaper one called Contact. And it's like $2 a month, but you have to pay for a year. So what's that? No, that's $24 a year. You can't beat that just to have an online database. You won't have all the functions that this have. Like, I can generate leads, which is basically people before we turn them into accounts and contacts, so that they're part of our database, but they're not in our main database. So there's a separation between the two. So you can take a lead and then convert the lead into an actual customer, so that you don't have to have like a database of a gazillion people that aren't really qualified. And then and do all these different things. You can upload files. You can do this a variety of things. But the most important thing is like it allows you to be able to manage everything, submit queries, do searches. So I can search for like Mesa. Well, actually, I was just in Clark County school groups. So there's Clark County. County, Clark County. Whoops. And then here's an opportunity. Maybe I can pull up all the different things that are related to this particular account. Or look up chatter feeds. It's just really easy to use, and it's not that bad. My recommendation is to start out with the group edition, which is with one user. You can try it out for free for like I think 15 days or something like that. But their salespeople are going to hound you to death. But the thing is, they're also there to answer questions too. So I asked them a million questions during that review process. I actually got them to extend it to 30 days, so that so I can do a thorough analysis of it. And right now, the way that I'm using is 3 people. So I got myself, and I got 2 other accounts. And those other 2 accounts I haven't shared, so that based on what their job function is, they can log in. It's not very important for me right now to have everyone have a separate account because I don't need to track individuals on an individual basis. Eventually, if I do, then I'll add more people to my account. And then once I get past 5, then I'll have to bump into the next tier, which is the expensive tier, which is like $100 a month per person. But by the time you get to that stage, you're probably not worried about that type of spending. Okay, so that's Salesforce. It's very easy. Just go to their website. They have a lot of different things they do. But I wanted to share that with you guys because I think it's really important because it really tracks your dollars and cents as far as interacting with your customers. And it can be really, really fine-tuned. You can set up mail templates, so if you have an email that you send to a lot of people the same, just click on the template and you're done. The next one is business cards. Now this is a company that I use called Overnight Prints. I know I mentioned this to you guys like a few months ago, but their prices are unbeatable and their quality is really good. I mean, they're not the best quality out there, so if you need like spot matching of color flyers according to like very specific parameters, or like blue is not the right kind of blue, then don't go with them. But the thing is, like, they do it really quick and cheap, and they have a great customer service as well. I've been using them for 8 years now, and they do all of my business cards, flyers, and cards. And right now they do UV spot printing, which you guys saw. So with the fancy the way that it shines differently based on the card for free. So you can get 1,000 rounded corners, full color both sides with UV spot coating for like about $70 plus shipping. And shipping is usually really cheap. For 1,000, you can't beat that really.
4,000 for
$1,000 for about $70 with rounded corners. Without rounded corners, it'd be about $50. They have a lot of different prices. So this is very important because you can look like $1 million with this. You don't have to spend a lot of money because there's a lot of other business card companies out there that want me to pay like $150 to $200 for the same results I got with this company. Now,
and one of the things that I've learned over the years is that your business card is your best marketing tool. And you should always have them with you, and you should always give them out in abundance. And any message you want on there, and this is a way of getting a very first-class business card for a low price. That's all. But it's very important. You should always have your business card. I think I shared this with you. One of my friends believes it so much that even when he's swimming, he has laminated business cards. Seriously. And you have them with you all the time. People want to know who you are. That's your ID. This is a good idea.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They don't do everything, but the stuff that they do is really top notch. And they do have a lot of products. Gosh, cardboard magnets. That's a good one. Sure. A lot of different things. I use them for business cards, flyers, and postcards. On the postcard side. Their letterheads are a little too pricey for me, but they're really good. I haven't tried any of their other products because I really haven't needed to. Actually, I did try their bookmarks, which is really good because all this is just smaller, longer cards. All right, so that's Overnight Prints. Check it out there. They have all the prices listed, so if I click on business cards, let's see here. Where's their price list? And they're really fast on delivery. You order it today, you can have it with standard delivery by next week. You can get faster shipping, so there we go. 1,000 for double sided. Oh, I was wrong. 34.85. Maybe I was also counting.
And that's what look, you grab a picture?
Huh?
That's what a picture, you lift the picture.
Yeah, full color, bleed, everything.
They don't send you proofs, but you can just order like a small quantity and just leave it at that.
Yeah, you can order a small quantity. You don't really need proofs unless if you're really anal about the way it looks. Like sometimes it might be a little off, but the thing is, if it's really bad, they say send it back. We'll send you a new batch for free. They're really good about customer service. I mean, I've had a few things go wrong. I sent it back and they sent me a new batch for immediately. The only downside is that if I need it for a trade show, then I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So always order it ahead of time. And yeah, the price is $2,000. Gosh, it's good. Well, actually, I think these are my discount. Oh yeah.
Are you going to give us a fact sheet with all these things on it, or?
Maybe I could email.
Or just what they are.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Matt.
All right. So the last one to finish off is a really good tool that's online. It's Google Drive. If you guys don't use any type of cloud-based document services, Google has a great one that's free. I know Microsoft also has one, but we love using Google Drive because you can create collaborative documents, collaborative spreadsheets, collaborative presentations, collaborative everything, collaborative drawings. And basically you create a document and you share people with it. So then I have like my e200 presentation here, which is an online presentation, which then I can have someone else log in and they can do edits while I'm talking actually. And it's basically, if you're not using any type of cloud-based document type of services within your organization, it's really awesome because you create a document and then you can have multiple people edit it simultaneously.
That's like Dropbox.
No, it's not like Dropbox. Dropbox is just a file repository. But the thing is, you can't open up a document. So I have this document here. And then as I'm doing edits, if someone else is on this document, they're actually seeing me type on
So in Dropbox, you have to take it out, put it back in.
That's just a file transfer type of system.
And it's just called Google Docs?
It's Google Docs, but they rebranded it and call it Google Drive. So just go to Google Drive, and then what you do is you have to have a Google account. So it's just create a Google account with your email, sign in, create a document, share it with someone else, and see how it works. Like I love spreadsheets on it because then you always know that you're on the most current spreadsheet at all times.
Yeah.
Because if you're working on it, this is live. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
That was great.
So that's it. Those are the different products I wanted to show you. Starting with the project management, Trello, awesome,
Thank you
free.
very much. They're good stuff.
This is cheap. This is free, and powerful and awesome. This is a little more expensive, but really good, powerful, really good services, and then free. So you can do a lot of things with just these standard tools. And if you make it part of your business, you'll see increased efficiency, productivity, and also one of the key things is also accountability too. Especially with Trello, you can see the activity. So you can say, why isn't this anything happening on this project? Man, no, there hasn't been an update in like 2 weeks. And they go, oh, I've been jotting down notes. Tell them, jot notes down.
Put them in there.
Yeah, jot down the line.
You tell them to do that side of things. And also, there's accountability with Google Docs. You can actually go back in history and look at every single person's interaction with it in time. So you can go back and see who did what at what specific time and do that kind of stuff.
Bill would love that. He'd be like, you're supposed to do this, is that it? And then how come
Make
this
Bill
and then
smile
how
a
come
little
this
more.
and
That's
this?
good, that's good.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, we appreciate that. A lot of good ideas here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
The training one,
Thank
I
you
like
for
the
sharing.
training one. Because we always have to set for our safety and stuff. The guys, when we do the wires, they have to go through safety
Yeah.
and stuff.
That'd be a good
And
application.
then to be certified with different manufacturers, they have to go and see how the installation is, about the product, and then take a test.
Yeah.
So,
And that's important because like right now with the state of training, it's very lackluster and lackadaisical, you know, and there's so much room for improvement on that.
Yep.
Thank you, Nye.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good job, appreciate it.
Great, thank you, sir.
Thank Nick, appreciate
One
it.
more.
Sticking around.
One more.
All right, good
We'll see you in a
stuff,
couple
hey.
weeks.
Good
Got
stuff.
it, thank you, sir.
Bye.
I'll see you, dear. You're gonna email me